Hi, I'm Cristina Samaniri, and I'm here with Johan and Haan today, CTO of Mendix. Today, Johan and I will be discussing a very important topic, customer experience. So let's see what he has to say. Johan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Sure, my pleasure.
Great. Well, let's give a first introduction of today's topic. So Mendix recently sponsored a survey on customer experience, and we asked about 500 IT leaders, our enterprise architects and developers, why creating the best customer experience is so important, why we're doing it, and why does it matter. That brings me to my first question. We are living in a customer-centric world, which means customer experience is crucial to a business's success. So how has the perception of customer experience changed in the last few years?
Yeah, it has basically becoming increasingly important. And of course, the pandemic accelerated that, but it has been starting way before that, where we basically moved from a view of we deliver something, and if you want to buy it, you are our customer, to really be much more focused on what are the needs of the customer, how can we reach the right customers, and how can we make sure they are happy with the experience we provide them. And what we see happening is that the trend of more customer centricity actually started in the consumer world, where people are used to an experience that is very tailored to what they need, what they want. It's what you would call instant gratification. So when they need something, want something, or there is new information, they immediately can get to it. And that's what businesses have to play into as well, to make sure that they are fully focused, deliver a digital experience, a hyper-personalized experience. So that means that it's really specific to the individual. And three, that whenever the customer thinks about the status of an order or whatever is happening in the interaction with you as a business, that they immediately can gratify that need. And that's, I think, becoming more and more important. And that's why we see that trend of customer centricity.
Thank you for your answer. I couldn't agree more. So let's go to the next question. As customer experience and the technology around it evolves, how can a business continuously keep its customer at the core of its business?
Yeah, that's a good question, of course, because we can talk about customer centricity for ages, but how do you do that as a business? And I think it starts at the culture of the company. I mean, we can talk technology, we can talk data gathering, everything, but in the end, it's a cultural change that needs to happen in your company, where you really put customer centricity central in your processes and how you deal with everything you're doing, not as just a hollow slogan, but really in making it the first question that you think about when you think about changing things in your processes, in your pricing, in the way you interact with customers. So I think that's the most important thing to focus on first. And then, of course, you can follow up with making sure that you can actually deliver digital experience. So you need to automate your processes, because if you want to have immediate answers to customers, how do you do that if you don't have access to the right data? And if it's not all automated, then it actually takes weeks to get something going or to answer a question. So after culture, the next step is digitization. And then, of course, you need the ability to automate all your processes in a way that is... we talked about hyper-personalization towards the customer, but basically you also need hyper-personalization in the software systems you have. They need to be completely personalized to your business, completely aligned, so that you can be that customer-centric organization and still also differentiate from competitors.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Next question. As technology evolves, customer expectations do too. So how does Mendix, and any business really, know that they're meeting the demands of the customer?
Yeah, that's a really important question, because of course you can say you're customer-centric, and maybe you was it at one point in time, but how do you know you keep being that, and how you evolve also with the needs of your customers? I think the most important part of that is measuring. So basically gathering the data of the behavior of your customers. And of course, depends a lot on what type of business you are, whether you can measure their behavior in your products or how they interact with your products if they are digital products. And then, of course, you can start analyzing that and making sure you get the right insights from that. So it means that you need to have the infrastructure in place to measure how your customers are interacting with you, what they think about that. Also to create the right feedback loops. So not just doing the data gathering, but also having response from customers, like what do they feel, experience when they are in a certain part of the process and so on. So if you start doing that, you get much more insight. And yeah, we're trying to do the same thing at Mendix as well. Of course, we are building a technology platform, but what we do all the time is trying to measure how people are navigating through our platform, where they are getting stuck. So, and then we of course try to improve that, making it easier to do certain parts of application development. If we see that many people struggle with a certain aspect of that. But also asking for feedback. So ask them once in a while, like, what do you think about the platform? How did you experience building this part of your application, so that we can keep on learning and studying what our users are doing. It's really a profession. So you need, and what we have in our company is UX research, user experience research people that really study the behavior of our users in all kinds of different settings, to really learn and become that customer and user-centric organization.
Thank you for your answer. So measuring, knowing and learning about your customer is vital in the whole process. Thank you. Next question. How does the Mendix platform enables businesses to be more customer-centric? And can you give us some examples?
Yeah, customer centricity starts with a better digital experience. And of course, creating that experience and continuously evolving it to the needs of your customers asks for an ability to automate your processes, to build portals, mobile apps, ideally native mobile apps with a great user experience. And you want to do that with a great time to market, so that you can respond to the needs of your customers and change. And that's where low code and Mendix, the Mendix platform comes in to help you do that. So to build quicker, with quicker iterations, but also gather the feedback from users with our built-in feedback mechanisms, measure how users are using your software. And we see great examples of that in our customer base. So one example is Mitsubishi elevators. And they use Mendix in a couple of ways. So the first way is to measure all the data from their elevators. So they know the movements and so on, so that they can improve their maintenance. And in the end, that's the best way to improve customer experience in the case of elevators, to make sure they are always running and running in the right way and so on. So that's maintenance part is really important. So basically they had IoT sensors in there, gather all the data, and then based on that improve the maintenance of the elevators. And then in addition to that, they created a consumer-facing app, so you can just scan a QR code and select the floor you want to go to and then step into the elevator. Of course, during the pandemic, that was a great solution to not have to touch buttons, but it also improves the experience because you can already enter your floor before you step into the elevator. So that's a great example of the ability to quickly respond. So that mobile app was built in 2 weeks with the Mendix platform to the needs of customers and really be that customer-centric organization. Another great example in our customer base is Stella bikes. So they build bikes and they use Mendix basically to optimize and automate their entire operation. So both the front end, so portals where you can access as a consumer all the information you need from Stella, but also the back-end processes, so that everything is automated and you actually are provided with the right information at the right moment. So if you order a new bike, you get timely information about that, for example, but also the right data availability, that they can say like, hey, this is the time it will take us to deliver you the bike. So there are many examples there, and that's also a continuous process of improving the internal operations, but also how they communicate with their customers.
Thank you, Johan, for taking the time to sit down with me today and answering all of these questions. I think I've learned the importance of customer experience, and I hope our viewers do too. So thank you again for today.
I hope so too. Always a pleasure to talk with you.